Just for an example, for a recapitulation again, suppose you have an argument n and you want to calculate factorial of n. If you identify the definition of the factorial, so you will find out two definitions. One definition will be you can start multiplying n by n minus 1, then multiply this one by n minus 2 and repeat it up to 1. Okay. Another one, or anyone can represent it as starting from 1 up to 2, 2, 3, then go for n. Up to n you have to go for multiplying. Okay. So this approach you people implement using a simple for loop for I equals to 1 to n. So inside the loop, the statement will be f is equals to f multiply I, and this will be the end statement. This is one approach. Anyone can write this as for I equals to n minus 1 up to 1, then f is equals to f multiply I, and this is an end statement. This also can also be accepted. Just these versions are not recursive. This is iterative. That means there is an application of the loop structure to implement the logic. Okay, but not all time the method will be expressed in terms of iteration. Sometimes there is a necessity to apply recursion, and the recursive logic is factorial of n. You have to identify when we shall stop. So you know that it is a truth that factorial of 0 is always 1. Okay, or anybody can say that sir, factorial of 1 is also 1. Okay, because we are not going to calculate the factorial of a negative quantity. Okay, so we can stop and return 1 if n equals to 0, or anybody can write n equals to 0 or n equals to 1. So let us put the base one, that is n equals to 0. Otherwise, you have to define the function in terms of itself. So that means at the right hand side, expressing the formula, the same type of notations must be there. Otherwise, it cannot be recursive. Okay, it is by example, n current n multiply n minus 1 factorial. That means if n it is 5, 5 into 5 minus 1 factorial, that is 5 into factorial of 4. Otherwise, okay, so this is an example. So this part you see that in terms of the notation here, factorial of n, it is there, and factorial of n minus 1, it is also present. So factorial notation is there in both the sides. So this implies that factorial is expressed or is called in terms of itself, but with a smaller input. Initially it was n, but n is expressed not in terms of n. N is expressed in terms of a smaller value, that means n minus 1. If it would be n, then definitely you are not supposed to come out from this infinite regression. Okay, so it is like 5 factorial is expressed as 5 into 5 minus 1, that is 4 factorial. So factorial calls itself. Okay, in terms of the representations in function with the help of a function, if f is a function to calculate factorial, then this factorial notation will be just replaced by f of n, function is responsible. So this same definition will be applicable. I'm sorry, this is 1 if n equals to 0. Otherwise, it will be n into, just call f of with smaller input, f of n minus 1. Okay, right? So this is the example of recursive function. So the function calls in terms of itself, and once a stopping criteria is reached, there will be no call. Once it is not reached, you just call itself and come back to the beginning part of the definition. So again you are coming inside. So this type of cases is called the recursive procedure. So hopefully you people knows it in earlier. You have already got the concept of recursion in your C programming class, which I mentioned. So is it clear to everyone that recursive functions consist of two sections? Number one is a stopping criteria. You have to mention where to stop, and otherwise you have to mention how to call it in terms of itself, but with a smaller input. Be careful with a smaller input. Okay, so in this way you can express recursion. So this part, that is the first part, can be considered as the else part. Otherwise part can be considered as the if, but that is up to the programmer. But we usually write if n equals 0, then return 1, else return n into f of n minus 1. This is. So in this way, you can express it in terms of the programming code. Fine. Is there any doubt regarding the recapitulations of the recursive functions or recursion? Any doubt, students? Do you have any doubt? I think you should not have. Do you have any doubt? Anybody? Please respond. You can unmute yourself and be respond that you do have any doubt or not. Otherwise, just give me a green signal so that I can proceed further.
It's okay, sir.
Is it okay? So
Yes,
shall I
sir.
Yes.
move on? Okay, thank you. So now the question definitely arises. Suppose I am considering this a very simple case which I have written in my earlier slide. It is 0. I'm sorry, again by if it is 1 if n equals to 0, otherwise n into f of n minus 1. Otherwise, again I am writing the same thing. It is basically factorial of n calculation. Now there is a question, sir. The code is looking very simple. It is very short and elegant. Then the question is, sir, what is the time requirement? Does it mean that recursion takes more time? Does it mean that recursion takes less time? Though the code becomes very simple to understand, very little in length, very shorter in length in general. So, sir, is it advantageous all the cases, or recursion has some disadvantage, etc., etc.? That will definitely come into the picture. But before that, you must know how to deal with the time taken of the recursive algorithm. Okay, so why recursive algorithm take more time, etc., etc., that I will come at the end of recursive functions discussion, or even let us complete it, then we'll move on to go for the methods associated with recursion to get out the complexity. So now you see that if I put the value of n equals to 5 here, so can anybody help me to calculate it? In which part should I move on? The first part or in the second part? If n equals to 5 is being supplied, in which part should I move
The
on?
second part.
And second
Second
part.
part.
For
Very
second.
good. So as per the formula, it is 5 into f of 4. Am I right? So what
Yes,
is the
sir.
next input? The
Yes, sir.
next input n becomes 4. So again, I will come to the else part,
Second.
and it will become calculated as 4 into f of 3. Now the input becomes 3. It will be evaluated as 3 into f of 2. Now input becomes 2. It will be evaluated as 2 multiply f of 1. Now n equals to 1. It will be evaluated as 1 into f of 0. So now I have a chance to come at the end. When n equals to 0, what value should I return? I have to return 1. So apparently it is seen that, sir, whatever the last calculation you are dealing with, only that value will be propagated to the user, so that user get the factorial value of anything is 1. But what is the factorial value of 5? It is 120 if I am not wrong. But it is apparently seen that the last value which is being returned from the if part, as because we have reached to the stopping criteria, that is 1. So but does it mean factorial of 5 equals to 1, or does it mean factorial of 5 equals to 1 is apparently viewing but it is not the actual case? Is it the actual case? That means the last
No,
return
sir.
statement will give you the result, but this is
No.
not the. So the question is, sir, where this intermediate value lies? So if you just analyze it for recursive algorithm, recursion uses the concept of a data structure that is called stack. And you know that stack is by nature LIFO or FIFO. Stack is by nature last in first out, LIFO. So once the recursive function is being executed, a memory pool that looks like a stack will be associated, and intermediate values will be kept over there. So when you are at the first iteration, that means first call, then 5 is waiting to receive factorial of 4, because it is a pending operation, because though you are supplying 5, you are not getting factorial of 5, because you have to wait unless and until the stopping criteria reaches. Stopping criteria will supply you to come back and clear all pending operations and finally return the final value. Okay, so for unfortunately again 4 into factorial of 3 is called, so 4 is still waiting. Once factorial 3 is coming, then the next call is 3 into f of 2. 3 is waiting when factorial 2 is coming, then 2 into factorial of 1, then 1 has come, 1 is waiting to receive factorial of 0, and this is the case when factorial 0 is being supplied from the definition. Yes, because we know factorial of 0 and which is set as 1, then this one will help us to get factorial of 1 by clearing this pending operation in the form of 1 into factorial of 0, which is 1. 1 into 1, this is 1. So this is popped out. So your current value is 1, which is factorial of 1. Now you get factorial of 1 value, which helps to get clear the factorial of 2, because 2 into factorial of 1 was the last value. So now you will pop out 2 into f of 1 and you will get 2. So factorial of 2 is calculated, then factorial of 3 will be calculated because you have got f of 2 from the last iterations. So in this way, all pending operations will be cleared, and at last you will get factorial of 5, that is 120. So though it looks like that you are returning 1 as the last value of factorial of n, where n is equals to 5, but ultimately you are returning factorial of 5, which is 120. Okay, so this is the logic. Though it looks like, though uh, though it looks like that you are returning the exact value, that is 120 or factorial of n. So this is the logic. So now your question will be, sir, uh, does it mean that same data is taken or evaluated twice? Exactly so. Because at the beginning, 5 is stored into the stack and waiting for factorial 4 to come. Then 4 is stored into the stack, waiting for factorial 3 to come. 3 is waiting to receive factorial 2. 2 is waiting to receive factorial 1. 1 is waiting to receive factorial of 0. So you just see, at the first case, you are keeping 5 into the stack, and the last case you are popping out 5. So single data is taken or evaluated twice. At the time beginning it is kept, then at the time of evaluation it is popped out. Okay, and in terms of the space, just you wanted to calculate factorial of 5, but you have to reserve 5 memory space for calculation. Though it is a single input, 5 memory spaces are required for calculation. So the space is taken more and the time is also taken more, because the same data is considered twice. One for keeping, that means you are pushing the data and it is waiting to get the value for its evaluation, and once the value has come, you are popping it out. So same data will be evaluated twice. So not only in terms of the time, but also in terms of the spaces, it can be proved that due to the use of stack, recursive algorithms takes more time as well as space. If you say, sir, why are you telling this without comparison with the iterative method? Yes, iterative method is very simple. You are just incorporating a loop which will repeat for